one spirit is another one's tool. Welcome to the Abyss Garden, a secluded land where we create endless pathways, unique cards to inspire your stories. In today's video we're reaching the end of our new Tiny Tale, where we created a new character and every day, for 6 iterations, drew a random pathway and used it to inspire the next scene and the next story of this creature's adventures. In the last Tiny Tale, the first one that I made, we ended up with our character kind of in the middle of its adventures, not really reaching a point that could be thought of as a pause or a break or an end point. And so I kind of wanted to bring that here with this second Tiny Tale, with our new character, to bring some kind of end to its adventure, to kind of fold it back together. And so with this idea, I tried to work with today's pathway that I selected at random, which was the awaited sign, and which states that entities may infuse meaning into any trinket, which was kind of a blessing in a sense to receive this card, because we already had our character having met this intriguing wizard, this smoke wizard, the Gunslinger, which is a character that we've seen here and there appear in the Abyss Garden. And we do know that it has a tendency to turn its companions and the creatures that it encounters into new tools for the future. And so what we are going to see here, how I use this notion, is that our character is going to be turned into a new smoke pipe for the Gunslinger, because it used to, in the past, have a smoking pipe with it and use it to great effect in order to follow its quest, in order to bring down monsters of incredible size. And what we'll see now is himself recreating a new pipe out of the new character that we've followed so far, which is kind of a sad end, in a sense, to our story. But as soon as it met the Gunslinger, we kind of had a hint that the end of this tiny adventure might be doomed from the start. And so I try to depict the Gunslinger in kind of a chill position. Once again, I'm quite struggling with its body and its clothes. I'm again trying new things, trying new postures, trying new ways to depict the Gunslinger's body, because I initially made it with quite of a feathery texture, and I kind of stuck to it, and now I realize how confusing it might be, and that it brings me to have a really hard time to picturing its real body that's hidden beneath the clothes, and to try to make sense of its physical appearance from the outside. I mean, I kind of like the idea that it's hard to imagine its real body, because it has a really oddly shaped face, oddly shaped head, and we don't really see his limbs. They're kind of hidden under his clothes, and his hands somehow turn sometimes into fire, into smoke. But still I would like for its outside to reflect more of its personality, and to be a bit more interesting, and for me to actually be able to draw it in a way that makes sense physically. But anyway, so I went to create this character, chilling on some rocks, as it closes its eyes and listen to the crackling sounds of its new pipe. And you might not be able to see it in the doodle, but what I try to make, what I try to do, is to engrave the face of our unknown darkness, this new character that we created, to engrave its face on the pipe, and to have its body kind of move inside the prison of smoke that the pipe creates. As we saw in the last doodle, it got imprisoned in this smoke barrier, and now it's kind of the end of this chapter of its life. It now seems to have become a tool companion to the Gunslinger, to the Smoke Wizard. I really like the idea. I'm not sure about the execution once again. But anyway, in the end we end up with a new pathway, which is called the Ensnaring Smoke, and which states that one spirit is another one's tool, which kind of mirrors the meaning that I gave you of this tiny scene and this tiny doodle. So it brings us to the end of this tiny tale. In theory, tomorrow I should do a tiny recap on these 6 scenes that we've created. But I'd also be, as usual, really curious if you have any idea or any notion on how you would use such a card, such a pathway in your creative endeavors. What this notion could bring to one of your creations. What kind of event it could unfold in your stories. In the meantime, I'm gonna wish you a nice day, and I'll see you tomorrow for a recap on this week's Tiny Tale.